Do you start the VCR?
Start the videotape recorder. Oh, and then he leaves the room. And now he's back. Then I've got the Mexican Coke.
Oh, of course. Hecho en Mexico. Hecho en Mexico. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. Like us if you can. We're the Flying Watson Brothers.
Or if you care. You want
We don't fly.
Oh, this is, I don't know what we're calling these, but this is quick hit day.
Quick hit day. We just fire them off. We don't know what anybody's doing.
So what do you got? Would you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay.
I like it when you go first.
Something popped off into my news the other day, and it was a teen was suspended for using the term illegal alien in class. And he was suspended actually for 3 days.
What
and
school?
He missed. It was in Lexington, Kentucky, of all places. And he missed his track meets and all this kind of thing. And the thing is, he made kind of a joke in class about the fact, were they talking about spaceship aliens or do the illegal aliens who need green cards? And it was really interesting because the teacher popped off and said that it was a derogatory statement, that had to do with race. And so illegal alien has nothing to do with race. You can be from Eastern Europe, Hungary. You can be from, Norway.
She's an accredited teacher,
and she's assistant principal actually.
Oh,
and
my Lord!
He made a racially
insensitive
comment.
She's not district superintendent.
And it took so much time for them to try and get them to retract this. It was just so absurd, and it reminded me of the fact that actually what just came out is that we react so quickly to these things. It's like, it's racist, it's racist, it's racist. And I looked up the, what do you call it? The definition.
You're right.
It has nothing to do with race. Illegal alien means you reside in that country without...
Well, I mean, why do you have to look that up?
I know. Why do you have to kind of justify it? It was like kind of crazy. Anyway, that's it. Well, the last button up on that is that there was these guys that came out and they, like years ago, they wore acne face mask. These 3 boys that were 14 years old, and they had a sleepover, and they were supporting one of the kids who had bad acne, so they all put this face mask on, and it happened to be darkish in color.
Oh my gosh, blackface?
Yeah. And so it came out, and it's like these guys were blah 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 blah, and it's like, dude, it's a
well, the thing
acne
is, you
mud mask, man.
You gotta shove these stories down the public's throat so they realize it, because nobody shows it. None of the mainstream media will show that,
Wow.
and that's just like it's terrible.
Well, I just
Well,
I hear you. I think it's awareness, but I think it shows our own kind of fallibility when that's our reaction, because we're looking for it. We're trying to make it about that.
Well, I do. I'm much more conscious of it, but then I catch myself and I just kind of go, screw that. You know?
Yeah.
It's because that's the disintegration of society right there.
Yeah. Disintegration.
Disintegration.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, you're talking about schools, and I'm just talking. The big UCLA riot, the pro-Palestinian protest,
peaceful.
The peaceful protest that their chancellor Gene Block.
Yeah.
He had the LAPD come in and over the weekend, bam, you guys are out of here. Everybody applauded it. It was like great. And
reasonable people applauded it.
80% of the campus applauded it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And 800 members of UCLA faculty and staff called for resignation of UCLA Chancellor Gene Block because he did this. The faculty members all attached their names to an online petition that calls for the ouster of Block, as well as full amnesty for all students, staff, and faculty who were involved in the encampment. So a lot of people try to make you think that, it's not the faculty that's in the encampments, people that actually are delusional that way. And this is, why do they need to be, amnestied?
Amnestied.
Yeah, why do they need to be
stylized?
The petition also calls for the university to fully disclose within 30 days all of its investments and to divest in all military weapons production companies and supporting systems.
Okay, I got a comment.
I mean, well, that's all I got. But I mean, it's just that's just a joke. I mean,
and I don't.
You're saying it's the same as me to that.
This is across the board, though, with all of the protests that are going on in the universities and their feelings of entitlement and all this kind of thing and demands. And you have students
Those are just little
that are
soft
19
words,
years old
feeling of
making
entitlement.
they're
just
making
fucking little.
making demands on the administration of that college. And the challenge is that you're
Well, these were professors.
yes,
faculty.
and that's the challenge that we're running into is because now the professors are all backing them all up.
Well,
Not
you
all
have the
of them,
children
but a lot of
running
them.
you have the lunatics running the asylum, and look what happens.
I find it to be, of course, I mean, we look at it like we roll our eyes at the whole thing, but the truth is, like, this is to the people that are participating
Who
in
rolls
it.
their eyes at it?
I do, because it's ridiculous. That's my eye roll. But
You should get pissed.
well, I'm not going to get pissed. My point is that the people that are participating in it really honestly feel in their core that this is, they're legitimate. That they're
But that's
valid.
the problem. And why do they feel they're legitimate?
This is their truth.
How do they? There it is, right there.
That's right,
Their
because-
truth.
I know.
That's wrong. There is one truth.
Okay, the point is that, well, there's difference of opinion when it comes to this. Because,
There's multiple opinions, but there's one truth.
okay. I got a little tangent to that. 'Cause
That's
it's
like saying that's like, hang on. That's like saying like the molecules in the atoms in an oxygen molecule. There's only one truth to that, and you can't say there's what is it, hydrogen and what is it? I don't even know. My chemistry class
I don't know.
eludes me.
But I'm glad you bring a physics into it because I'm a big fan of physics. But getting to that, what was that?
I'm sure my I went to the dermatologist, got some burns.
Oh yeah, you got one here.
I got one on my nose. Go ahead.
Brutal. Well, it's every side, Democrats and Republicans alike. Nobody is innocent to this. Where on the latest,
You always say that.
because this is true. Because now
It's just
they
such a minute degree.
Because
You make it sound like it's even, and it's not, and that's what bothers me.
okay, but you don't even know what I'm talking about yet.
I don't, but it's anything when you say it with it's even on both sides, it's not true. I'm just saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The GOP rep came out with Andy Ogles from Tennessee came out with a new regulation to be voted on, introduced a bill actually.
Is that another one?
Another bill that was going to be those convicted.
This is a quick hit, though.
Is a quick hit.
Thank you.
Those convicted of protests that have turned violent between police and activists that are arrested, that kind of thing. They need to be forced to serve a minimum 6-month community service sentence in Gaza.
Right.
So I think it's funny. It gets the headlines and everything. Obviously, it was never going to pass in a million years. But now he can say, "Look, I tried to. I'm being forceful and I'm being aggressive out there, and that's fine." Because the point is that even though I make fun of it because it's just a political posturing, there's some truth to it. That you kind of look at. Well,
yeah.
you kind of look at it like, well, maybe they should go spend some time over there and see what life is really like under an authoritarian, theocratic regime.
And see if you come back, if you're alive to come back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aren't they starting something to where it's like immigrants? They're gonna deport them that have a visa from these countries or something like that.
Yeah, well, there's been talk
There's
about mass
something.
deportations now happening after people that are, especially those that are from these countries over there on.
But I'm talking about specifically the protesters.
Student that hold student visas. Correct. There's a conversation
that's
happening about that to deport them immediately without question. I want to get back to the guy. I want to get back quickly because it was so funny because they showed a picture, and I don't want to show his picture, about the kid that mentioned the do illegal aliens who need green cards comment in class, because the kid looks just like McLovin from Superbad. And I just thought
You're a big fan of the Superbad.
Oh, I love that movie, man.
I just think it's like, man.
Really?
I mean, it's all right. Maybe I need to watch it a few times. I've only watched it once. I'm like I kind of suffered through it.
Once would be enough, but it's like it kind of.
But you see more and more times. You see a little bit more that you like about it.
Although, well, there's all
It was like
kinds
a
of
cult classic for your generation.
Huh?
Your generation.
Well, yeah, it speaks to me. I think it was just kind of funny. Everything else. You got anything else you want me to go?
Of course I do. No. I'm ready. Well, I know it's surprising. Of course I do.
We're keeping a good pace. We're keeping a good pace.
Well, speaking of the illegal immigration and deporting them, I mean, the Mile High City of Denver, who has been the biggest sanctuary city of all, well, after California and New York and Michigan.
All equal.
Yeah, right. The Denver migrants sent Mayor Mike Johnston a list of 13 demands that as they refused to clear their encampments and move to the shelter that he would provide him. And these lists are just unbelievable. I'm just going to rattle a few off here. Like out of 13, number 2, shower access will be available without time limits and can be assessed whenever. We are not in the military. We're civilians. 3, medical professional visits will happen regularly and referrals/connections for specialty care will be made as needed. 5, there needs to be a clear, just process before exiting someone for any reason, including verbal, written, and final warnings. These guys are in the country illegally, and they're demanding rights. It's just atrocious.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. I mean, it's a new landscape
Denver,
out there.
The Mile High City.
And
it's cost them $68 million since they started, and they got 40,000 illegals. God bless you, Abbott, for sending them to these sanctuary cities, because it made it aware. The rest of the country just thought, oh, it's just the border states.
It's the red states in particular.
Yeah. And then now it's like, and the ones that are, the red states in particular, the ones that got it, they're getting the brunt of it.
Yeah.
And exactly, 100%. And it's cost them $68 million so far, and since $35 million since December 23 till now.
Well, I do want to.
It's unbelievable.
I do want to jump in there after your quick diatribe there, but it's all very valid. And
You
the
said
thing
quick,
is,
quick. You said quick. I did as quick as I
you did
could.
as quick as you could. And the point is that we have. I know that sitting here, we have all the compassion in the world for people that are trying to immigrate and find a better life for themselves and their kids,
Legally.
and everybody else. We're immigrants at one point.
Okay, but that's a foregone conclusion. You shouldn't even say that, because it sounds like you're trying to defend yourself for something. It sounds like you're. Go ahead.
Well, there just needs to be some reasonableness applied here. And now it's like the fact that the border is so porous, it's never been addressed at all. They don't even talk about it anymore. Except
Tim.
to try and blame the
Logic and
Republicans once in a
reason.
while. When all of the laws are already in place, all they have to do is to be implemented by the Biden administration, which they refuse to do. Because they don't want to give up the votes. And speaking to that, I'm taking over now. And that is that because this is akin to what you kind of generally mention.
Always.
And I am a little bit of a like, oh, George, the sky is falling.
90% of things I say, that's what you say.
Not
But then,
90,
but then
80s.
but then in 6 months, a year, you find out, well, what do you know?
Well, the point is that Elon Musk said that came out on Twitter.
He's your favorite guy.
No, he's not. He's not. But
Every episode, you have an Elon Musk quote.
well, because it's like all of a sudden he just kind of like gets the root of things, and he luckily he lives so far above the bubble.
Go ahead.
Is that he said 2024 will probably be the last election actually decided by U.S. citizens, because
True to that.
because they're getting ready to put out a new questionnaire for a new census. And what the census does is it helps set up apportionment of House seats and presidential electoral college votes. This is what you're given by doing a consensus. The Democrats
Are using that
unanimously
to get more senators and more congressmen.
well, because unanimously they want to take out of the consensus questionnaire if you're a citizen or not. That's the whole end game here, is so that they can base it just on population strictly and not on citizens, on who gets, and how they appropriate.
And then they get more.
So it's just like, and Elon Musk, I know he gets a little dramatic sometimes, but the truth of the matter is like.
He's the arbiter of truth.
And this is just kind of like, I don't want to admit something like this is really the agenda of the Democrats, but when you look at all of the, I know, but when you start
there's a hole right over there in the ground. I think you should stick your head in it. Jeez.
when you start seeing all of these things starting to pile up, it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're supposed to be smiling?
I'm supposed to be, because that's just infuriating when you say you refuse to believe that. It's been happening for...
I didn't refuse to believe it. I just wanted more empirical data, and I just kind of want to be convinced.
Was that empirical enough for you, Elon?
It's Elon's opinion, but the point is the fact that the real root of it is the fact that they're taking this out of the questionnaire for the consensus. Why? What's the motivation for that?
Power.
Power.
To retain power. To keep... That's when everything goes back to, where it goes back. Captain T.
I understand. Capital T?
Captain T.
I don't know what
Captain DJ T. Donald
Oh.
J. No, because he's anti-establishment. The swamp is so set. Everybody's making money hand over fist, and they're not looking out for the United States of America.
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 Okay, back to
Me.
you.
Oh, you have something that ties into it?
No.
Oh, I can do an next little. I
Okay,
can
we
do
just got a few
little
minutes
X thing.
left. We just got a few minutes left.
What?
I'm telling you, these were supposed to be quick. You read off a whole litany of their demands.
Just thinking, okay, so I don't know what to. I don't know. Miss Teen resigns, or the California Attorney General Bonta prepares lawsuits to stop Trump agenda if he wins. They're already planning to lawfare him if he wins. He's not even. It's unbelievable. He's preparing a barrage of lawsuits in the event the former president, Donald Trump, wins the 2024 election, studying his agenda and planning to stop it in advance in the repeat of 2017-2021, which was Becerra. He's been reviewing the work of his predecessor, Xavier Becerra, who is now Health and Human Resources, Secretary of Health and Human Resources, Herman Services, who filed more than 100 lawsuits against Trump policies before leaving the office to become that.
Secretary of Health and Human Services.
And it's they have an onslaught of potential environmental, immigration, and civil rights lawsuits the event Trump defeats President Biden.
Okay.
It's just, I mean,
yes, I understand. And I'm going to inject since you've been reading. It's the whole machinations.
What's a machination?
It's putting a plan in place that is...
That's machinations?
Yeah.
I like that.
And to go after... you're calling me on the carpet again on these things. But it's a whole democratic philosophy we do it. And what's interesting, because I'm just going to touch on this, is but all we hear about in MSN is the fact that Trump is the one who's going to destroy democracy and clean house and all this kind of stuff.
They're doing it.
He should clean house. But
without anything that they're accusing anything they're accusing the right of doing, they're already engaging in.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. As a general rule, any accusation they throw towards the right, you take a look and you can find out where they're doing it somewhere. If you want to, if you really want to look into it, you can find it.
With your beanie, you look like you're on a little bit of like a chain gang, you're breaking rocks out there in the hot sun.
California AG Bonta might be there shortly.
I think you're on his list. Okay, two more things, and they're both coming from me.
No.
Okay, is it Biden came out on CNN and said that he's going to...
Fetterman's your second favorite person.
Well, he seems to be...
I agree. I like him too.
I was the biggest critic of Fetterman, John Fetterman, 2 years ago, 2.5 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I'm like, dude, he just seems to be kind of reasonable. Granted,
He's the only reasonable
at least
person.
when it comes to Israel, and he won't, bow down to the far left progressives in the squad. Well, just that he disagrees and is deeply disappointed that Biden says he will stop sending bombs and artillery shells to Israel if they launch major offensive invasion of Rafah, where there is 4 battalions of Hamas.
Yes, that's the final 4 battalions, isn't it?
Hiding behind 1 million residents.
Civilians. Civilians.
Yeah.
And it's
hostages, probably.
And while they're telling them that Israel needs to, they're not going to give them these funds. By the way, isn't that what they impeached Donald Trump for? Tried to impeach Donald Trump for?
Oh, that's a really good. That's a really good point.
By the Democrat standards, Biden should be impeached for withholding already allocated funds from Congress, with the weaponry to
because it's already
help
been
the election, to help his election.
Because it's already been approved.
Yes, because it's been approved.
That's right.
That's why DJ Trump went through the impeachment process.
And Speaker Johnson came out and said that that he hopes that it's a senior moment, because that's not what they're talking about behind closed doors, but it's what Biden is coming out there and saying, or his marionettes handlers are saying, because of the far left, fringe.
Freaking 26-year-old running his campaign, running his speeches. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Well, I mean, it's like Israel. They can't go take out these last 4 battalions of Hamas. Assuming they're the last 4. I heard that they were pretty much the last of them.
Yeah.
Hiding down there, and at the same time, while the Hamas is destroying them, they have to keep supplying them with aid and food and water, and it's just unbelievable. It's such a one-sided story, and anybody who sides with Hamas and Palestine. Just so you know, Palestinians overwhelmingly support Hamas. They overwhelmingly board them and vote them in. I mean, it's just like, I granted they're civilians. A 5-year-old kid doesn't have a chance to vote, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I know.
And I'm sorry. My sympathies for that, but
you're speaking to the choir right now.
The reason they can't get out is because no other country will take them in.
Well, Egypt certainly is not interested in taking a bunch of terrorists.
Well, neither is Jordan,
neither that's for sure.
Anybody.
Okay, now on kind of let's
a lighter note.
Yeah, I have a lighter. Oh, you were going to go real quick. And then Netanyahu said that whether we think about him or not, he's like we're clearing out the enemy, and the enemy is Hamas because they have sworn allegiance to destroy Israel. But he says if necessary, we will fight with our nails. So what he's saying is that screw your weapons or screw your ammunition.
They can be in with their nails.
It's like we're going to do whatever it takes to get these guys cleared out. Which he should do by
back
every
100%.
right. But the point is
the point is Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels. She's always the point. It always comes down to Stormy Daniels. Team Stormy Daniels. I remember this years ago. It's like people put hashtag Team Stormy. And it's like, do you know this is the number one grifter on the face of the earth is Stormy Daniels, as far as I'm concerned.
She is a grifter. God, there's got to be a couple number ones ahead of her.
Right, a couple above her, but signed an NDA and took the $130K check and said thank you very much, and then later tried to rescind that, and then she got caught, and she's
make some more money.
And then she got and Trump sued her, and now she owes him $600K, whatever. It's all so maudlin.
Only $600K?
And so salacious, yeah, because it's for his attorney fees.
I thought it was more than that, though.
No. Anyway, I think that's a total. I think after attorney's fees and everything like that. I've seen a bunch of different things.
Go ahead.
But anyway, the point is that, her NDA was like...
You do follow this.
I don't even give a shit about this. She signed a legal document.
I know. I know.
It's 100% legal. I'm not talking about the court case that's going on right now with this. But I guess my question to you, George, okay, is that you've been waiting...
How do you tolerate this?
All morning. Is it... Why? She's never answered this question, and I'm very curious about it because it's always about legalese and everything else.
Yeah, this question kind of threw me.
But why did she have sex with Donald J. Trump? I mean, we're all so intrigued because it's so salacious and it's all this dirty laundry.
He's famous. He had his own TV show at that time, didn't he? The Apprentice? Was that during that time?
I think it was after The Apprentice, actually. Because
I mean, she's a grifter, that's why, and it was all...
But the point is that she sits there and spouts off about how much she hates Donald Trump and how much she hated him.
In that aspect.
And all this kind of thing.
She hates him now.
And yet she still has a MySpace.
She got 800,000 for her book rights. She's just been making money off this left and right.
What is it, MySpace or no? OnlyFans. I think she's still active on OnlyFans, but I don't know for sure.
What's OnlyFans?
It's it's an adult website where people go and do their thing, and you have to have a subscription to it and all that kind of stuff.
See, honey, I don't even know what that is. Aren't you proud of me?
But the point of the story is that I was really getting down to is that she can have sex with anybody she wants, and she could make money off of it, and she could.
She's had sex with, what did they calculate, 4,000 people or something like that, even more than that.
I don't know, but she's propositioned probably constantly. She's now clearly a world famous.
She gets to
porn
pick
star.
And choose who she goes to bed with.
Pick and choose. Why?
Say that again.
Pick and choose.
Not just once.
Why did she choose to have sex with Donald Trump? Why? What's the motivation there? You said because he's famous and whatever, but she says she hated him and she hates him and she hates him and blah,
because
blah, blah.
He's a wonderful human being and she saw that in him.
Well, and she makes fun of him. He came out in his Hugh Hefner pajamas.
I mean, why did you say that and say this now is your real question?
Well, yeah.
Why are you saying this now? And if you liked him enough to have sex with him back then,
that's right.
And we all know the reason.
Presumably,
we all know
she liked him enough to have sex with him. Presumably, it was certainly.
They almost tried to accuse him of rape in her testimony.
Except she said,
I was just laying on the bed with my eyes. I don't know how did I get there. Really, I think you probably knew how you got there, Stormy.
That's the whole thing. It's all just so absurd that she's making up all these backstories. I mean, one time she said that in a statement that she never had sex with the guy. So it's just kind of funny how it just kind of
she signed a statement with her lawyer, an ex-lawyer, that she didn't have sex with him.
It's just. But here, down to the root of it, it's like you have under free will, 100% free will. You chose to have sex with this man in a hotel room, and I think it was Lake Tahoe.
Do you know
why? Just tell us why. What was your real, true motivation or anything? Because obviously you were fascinated. It's Donald J. Trump, and he's a big deal, whatever, right?
Yeah, the judge won't let Trump say, sorry, moving.
Do it.
won't let Trump say I took advice of counsel. He won't let them plead that. I just took the advice of counsel, which is Cohen. It's
Oh, you mean to pay?
It's like the doctor suing the patient for the doctor fucking up on him.
Gosh, 29 minutes in. And on that note,
Positive affirmation. Breathe in the good, breathe out the bad.
breathe in the good and breathe out the bad. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Really kind of, send it out.
I worked out this morning. Work out, stay healthy.
I haven't, because I've got I got leftover pizza waiting for me.
With extra jalapeno and
extra pineapple.
and pepper.
Okay,
Pineapple.
love you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks again. Like us, please. We'd appreciate it. Later.